In the sterile, suffocating silence of courtroom 4, everyone expected a scream. Amara Kingsley sat in the defendant's chair, her back straight but her spirit carved out by betrayal. Inside, the man sitting across from her, the man currently holding his pregnant mistress's hand, was a piece of Amara. A literal kidney she had cut out of her own body to keep him breathing. Malik Moore didn't just take her organ, he took her years, her health, and finally, her dignity. It just didn't work out, Malik repeated to the judge, his voice as casual as a man canceling a gym membership. People outgrow each other. The room chilled. Amara didn't look at him. She looked at her hands, scarred from the surgery Malik had already forgotten. But as the judge leaned forward, her eyes flashing like steel, the atmosphere shifted. "A woman's sacrifice doesn't bind you, Mr. Moore," the judge whispered, "but it exposes your character." Amara exhaled. Not because she had won her house back, but because she finally understood. Some people aren't meant to be kept. They're meant to be survived. She walked out that day with empty hands, unaware that Malik's body was already starting to reject the only good thing he ever had left, her. Part 1. The courtroom. In the courtroom, everyone expected rage. After all, Amara Kingsley had sacrificed everything for that man. She donated a kidney to save his life. The very organ pumping inside him was once hers. And yet, Malik walked away the moment he recovered. A younger woman. A baby on the way. A betrayal so deep the doctor said stress was the only reason her stitches reopened. But today, there were no tears. No screaming. Just a woman who was done. She sat still, exhausted in a way only betrayal can carve into the bones. Malik kept repeating. It just didn't work out. People outgrow each other. As if marriage was a subscription. You cancel when you're bored. Or when someone new comes along. Then, woman judge medium skin tone, the judge leaned forward, eyes sharp like steel. A woman's sacrifice doesn't bind you, but it exposes your character. Silence swallowed the room. Malik's smirk faded, shame creeping onto his face like a shadow finally caught by the sun. The judge turned to Amara. You didn't lose a husband. You removed a man too small for the size of your heart. And in that moment, Amara exhaled. Not because she won, but because she finally understood. Some people aren't meant to be kept. They're meant to be survived. She walked out of that courtroom with empty hands. But a free soul. Little did she know. The story wasn't over. Her kidney was keeping him alive. But fate was about to let her watch him choke on everything he tried to bury. Part 2. The Mistress. 3 days after the divorce hearing, Amara heard a knock. When she opened the door, she nearly dropped her tea. It was her. The mistress. The one Malik left her for. Pregnant. Nervous. Alone. My name is Zara. Can we talk? Amara's first instinct was to slam the door, but curiosity held her hand still. They sat. Silence thick enough to suffocate. Zara took a deep breath. I didn't know about you. Until I was already 2 months in. Amara raised a brow. She wasn't here for excuses. But then Zara pulled out her phone. Proof. Screenshot after screenshot. Malik told Zara he was single. Told her Amara was his cousin who helped pay bills. The pregnancy? He wanted it. Then Zara dropped the real bomb. He told me. Once the divorce is finalized, he's putting the house in my name. And your kidney was his punishment for cheating on him. The room spun. Amara remembered the moment she signed the surgery consent form. Malik cried, begging for another chance. Swearing he'd never betray her again. He let her believe love still existed. Just so he could stay alive long enough to finish betraying her. Then Zara burst into tears. He changed once I got pregnant. He isolated me. Controlled my accounts. And now, he said if the baby isn't a boy, I'm disposable. Amara stared. The mistress wasn't her enemy. She was another victim of his ego. And then Zara whispered, "There's something else. Something you need to know." She handed Amara an envelope. Inside was a hospital document. Malik's kidney is failing. Both of them. He didn't take his anti-rejection meds. He thought the doctor was exaggerating. Amara looked up, eyes sharper than rage. So he thinks he can survive. On a heart full of arrogance. And a kidney full of lies. Zara nodded, trembling. They said he's secretly trying to place himself back on the donor list. But the waiting time is years. Amara leaned back. A slow, knowing smile crept across her lips. For the first time in months, she felt powerful. Because now, Malik wasn't the one walking away. He was running out of time. And Amara wasn't done surviving. She was about to start winning. Part 3. Her revenge was silent. 2 weeks later, Amara received an unexpected call. "Mrs. Kingsley? Your ex-husband is in the hospital. It's urgent." She hesitated before correcting them. "It's Miss Kingsley now." When she arrived, Malik's entire family, the same ones who once mocked her for not giving him a son, jumped up from their seats. Auntie Priscilla rushed toward her, tears streaming. "Amara, please. You must talk to the doctors. They say you have to authorize the next transplant." Amara blinked slowly. Oh, how fast the tables turn. Malik lay weak in the bed, eyes sunken, skin pale. His breath struggled. The kidney she gave him was failing exactly like his faithfulness. He whispered, "Amara, please. I need your help." Her heart didn't break. Not this time. He showed her a document. A request for a second kidney donation approval. The hospital needed her consent since she was his first donor, legal protocol. She looked him dead in the eyes. "You already have a piece of me. You don't deserve any more." His mother scoffed. "Where is your humanity? He is still your husband." Amara gently placed the divorce decree on the bed. "No. He's just a man who used me." "And humanity?" "He lost that when he forgot mine." She signed the papers. But not the ones they hoped for. She signed the non-consent form. The room gasped as if the air had been stolen. Malik grabbed her wrist with the last of his strength. "You'll regret this." She leaned in, voice soft and lethal. "I already regretted saving your life once." And she walked out. Not out of cruelty, but out of self-respect. On her way out, she bumped into someone. A tall doctor with warm eyes. He recognized her name from the chart. "You're the brave kidney donor, right?" "I'm Dr. Kellen Pierce." Brave. She hadn't been called that before. She expected pity. She got admiration. Just before she reached the exit, he called out, "Miss Kingsley, if you ever need someone to talk to about any of this, I'm here." Amara smiled, for real this time. Because her life wasn't ending here. It was just beginning. But Malik wasn't done trying to ruin her life. And Zara wasn't done revealing secrets. Part 4. The secret that changes everything. 3 nights later, Amara sat quietly in her living room when she heard another knock. Zara. Again. But this time, she wasn't alone. A woman stood beside her, older, elegant, and angry. Malik's older sister, Nkem. Nkem spoke before Amara could. "I'm done protecting my brother. You deserve to know the truth." Amara folded her arms, waiting. Zara's hands shook as she handed Amara a folder. DNA test results. Baby's father, not Malik. The father was someone else entirely, Malik's cousin, Chaik. Amara stared. Zara burst into tears. "Malik forced me to lie. He said if I didn't claim the baby was his, he would destroy me." Turns out, Malik had been covering up his own infertility. His issue wasn't Amara's womb. It was his pride. Nkem clenched her jaw. "He's been lying to this entire family, blaming you for what he couldn't give." Every insult she ever endured, every whispered comment, every "why no children," was now exposed as pure manipulation. Amara sat still, Not shocked, just exhausted. Zara whispered. He hates being seen as weak. That's why he used you. That's why he used me. Amara finally asked. Why tell me now? Nkem stepped forward. Because Malik's trying to petition for legal power over you, claiming you're mentally unstable since the divorce. So that's what he meant by, you'll regret this. He wanted control. He wanted her silenced. He wanted her punished. But Nkem wasn't finished. He's trying to put you back in his life, forcibly. He wants your medical responsibility. Another kidney by law if needed. Amara felt the room spin. But Nkem put a hand gently on her shoulder. He won't win. I'll testify against him. For the first time, someone from his own bloodline stood with her. Just then, her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Check your mailbox. KP. Outside, in the cold night air, a small envelope waited. Inside was a business card. Dr. Kellen Pierce, transplant surgery. A note handwritten behind it. Not all heroes are loud. Dinner tomorrow. For the first time in a long time. Amara blushed. She walked back into the house with a look Zara recognized. Zara smiled weakly. There's life after survival, huh? Amara nodded. There's a whole world. And Malik? He was losing pieces of his. One truth at a time. Part 5. The Fall of a Narcissist. Malik's hospital room wasn't the peaceful recovery space he expected. It became his interrogation chamber. Detectives stood by his bedside, voices stern. You coerced a medical donor. You falsified legal documents. You tampered with medical records. His arrogance finally caught up. Malik tried to speak, but his voice cracked like his ego. I only did what was needed. No, the detective cut in. You did what benefited you. He wasn't arrested purely for being a bad husband, but for being a criminal one. The hospital placed security by his door. He was too weak to run, but not too weak for justice. Meanwhile, Amara was at a rooftop restaurant overlooking the city, a quiet dinner with Dr. Kellen Pierce. City lights reflected in her eyes, replacing the storm she once carried. Kellen wasn't rushing her. He wasn't trying to fix her. He simply listened. You gave someone life, he said softly. So life owes you something beautiful in return. She had forgotten what it felt like to be seen as worthy. Not useful. Not convenient. Worthy. Halfway through dinner, Amara's phone buzzed, dozens of messages. What happened? Kellen asked. Online. The news was spreading like wildfire. Loudspeaker, man who received kidney from wife arrested for medical fraud and abuse. Wife hailed as hero. Amara walking out of the courthouse, chin high, pain hidden but power radiating. The world wasn't just watching. They were rooting for her. Comments flooded in. Speech balloon, he didn't deserve a sip of her water, let alone a kidney. Speech balloon, protect that queen at all costs. Speech balloon, her glow-up is going to be legendary. Amara's hands shook. Not from fear, but from the shock of support she had never expected. Her story wasn't a tragedy. It was a testimony. Across town, Malik stared at a TV bolted to his hospital wall. He saw the world applauding the woman he tried to break. He screamed, ripping out a wire, setting off alarms. Nurses rushed in. His wrath had nowhere to go, because now he was the one trapped. The doctor's words echoed cruelly. Stress accelerates organ rejection. And Malik was drowning in stress. Back at the rooftop, Amara whispered. I thought I lost everything. Kellen smiled gently. Sometimes loss is the universe clearing space for what you actually deserve. Her heart fluttered, a feeling she thought betrayal had killed. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was becoming unstoppable. Part 6. A Queen Reborn. 6 months later. Amara Kingsley wasn't the same woman the world once pitied. She was the woman everyone admired. Sparkles, she launched a foundation helping organ donors emotionally and legally. Sparkles, she became the face of a national medical advocacy campaign. Sparkles, she published a book, The Body He Didn't Deserve, a bestseller in a week. Sparkles, she finally moved into her dream penthouse overlooking the skyline. Every step she took was a reminder. She turned pain into purpose. Meanwhile, Kellen had become her constant, a quiet presence with steady hands and a heart big enough to match hers. At a charity gala, as she stepped onto the red carpet, phones flashed. Crowds screamed her name. And Kellen leaned close. "You survived the storm. Now it's time to dance in the sunlight." For the first time, she believed it. But life loves a plot twist. A woman approached the velvet rope, shaking, tears streaming. Amara recognized her instantly. Malik's mother. She held a letter tight in her hand. Security moved to block her, but Amara raised a gentle hand. "Let her speak." Mrs. Kingsley whispered. "My son is dying. He refuses dialysis. He says he would rather die than watch you win." Amara's breath caught, not in pain, but disbelief. His pride ran deeper than his pulse. She opened the letter. A scrawled message from Malik. "I destroyed the best part of my life. And I was too small to admit it. You didn't deserve me. But I always deserved you. M." A single tear fell. Not for him, but for the years she wasted trying to save someone willing to drown. She folded the letter and handed it back. "He made his choices. And I made mine." Malik's mother nodded, a quiet acceptance. She didn't beg for a kidney. She didn't demand forgiveness. She simply said, "Thank you for loving him once." Amara placed a hand on her shoulder. "Now go love him enough to let him face his truth." Mrs. Kingsley walked away, shoulders trembling. Kellen slipped his fingers through Amara's. "Are you okay?" Amara inhaled a deep, steady breath. "I'm free." Then she stepped inside the gala. And the world welcomed her like a woman reborn. Her crown wasn't on her head. It was in her survival. Her badge wasn't her pain. It was her rebirth. And the future? Oh, it was glowing brighter than the flashlights popping around her. Part 7. The Last Breath of Karma. Hospitals are strange places. They can either be where life begins, or where truth finally catches up. Malik lay in a dim hospital room. A thin line between him and the afterlife. Machines beeped. His breaths were fragile. Nkem sat by his side, eyes red, finally done covering for him. "You lost the best thing in your life," she whispered. He forced a broken laugh. "No, I tried to own the best thing in my life. And ownership isn't love." For the first time, Malik admitted the truth. Not to save himself, but to die honest. At that same moment, Amara stood on a balcony overlooking the city, Kellen beside her. Tonight was special. Kellen took her hands gently. "You gave life to someone who misused it, but you also gave life to yourself. Now, let me give you something too." He pulled out a velvet box. Not a diamond. Something better. A simple ring with a heart engraved inside. Survive to be loved. Not possession. Celebration. Amara Kingsley. You don't owe me a forever, but I would love the chance to earn one with you. She didn't rush. She didn't tremble. She just smiled, with peace clear in her eyes. "Yes, but we walk this slowly. My heart deserves patience." Kellen kissed her forehead. That alone spoke love. Hours later, a call came. Malik was gone. The kidney she gave him bought him years. But pride shortened them. Amara didn't collapse. She didn't hate. She didn't celebrate. She simply said, "May his soul find the peace he refused to offer others." And just like that, the chapter ended.